Revenue Forum is a non-profit initiative started by me in 2008. Currently, we organize webinars. We hold these on Thursdays every 6 weeks, half-day seminars in 10 cities and 8 countries, and we hope to start again this year. And whole-day events. We had our first one last October, and the next one is going to be February next year. This is a unique hybrid event held simultaneously in Stockholm, London, Milan, and online. The topic of today is hotel distribution, what happens next, and we have invited an expert panel and a hotel expert to talk about the subject. Our expert panel consists of 5 speakers, and we will each get 5 minutes to talk. We will use a Pachacucha format. This means that the presentation slides automatically change after 20 or 30 seconds. After this, we will interview our hotel expert, Martin Duchateau from Made in Louuise, and close off the hour with the panel distribution. Participants of this webinar are a broad mix of listeners from all over Europe. There are hotels ranging 2 to 5 stars, independent and large brands, and we make this coming hour as inspiring to you all. Now let's introduce our speakers of today. Let me start with the introduction of the first speaker, which is myself. My name is Annemarie Gubanski, and apart from the organizing of revenue forums, I am founder and CEO of Taktikon, which is a consultancy specializing in revenue management and distribution. We offer outsourcing, audits, and a few systems. And today I will talk about why the distribution jungle is such a jungle, and give you 2 ways to go about in finding your way in this jungle. Now, the next speakers, could you introduce yourselves as well?
Hi, I'm Maeve Walls from Net Affinity. I'm a senior e-commerce manager with them. And today I'm going to focus on the benefits of Google Hotel Ads and its role in hotel distribution.
Hello, I'm Piotr, Chief Commercial Officer at Planet, where we provide technology solutions for pricing and distribution for hotels. And I will try to give you some sneak peek into how to break silos between pricing and distribution, because they cannot go alone.
Hello, I'm Michail Tzouvelekis. I head up marketing at Fornova. Fornova is experts in competitive intelligence and distribution intelligence for hotels of all sizes and chains, and also for online travel agencies and car rental companies. So today I'm going to move away a bit from distribution and also talk about content parity, which is becoming very, very important, almost as important as rate parity.
Hi, I'm Alex Barros. I'm the MD for EasyWay in Europe, and we work with guest customer journeys automation using artificial intelligence to scale and use messaging as a distribution channel for hotels to acquire the most value they can and give the most value they can to the guests.
Hi everyone, I'm Martin Duchateau. I'm managing 2 hotels in Brussels, Belgium, and we will see a little bit on the hotel side how challenging the distribution can be.
Thank you all. So let's start with me then. Here I am. So my name is Annemarie Gubanski, and I'm founder of Taktikon, which is a consultancy specialized in revenue management and distribution. And we are now introducing a soft brand called Taktikon's Hotels. I'll just try to tell you why we thought to start a soft brand. The average hotelier's vision about having a hotel is guest experience. Guests are dazzled by the smile of the receptionist, enjoy a good night's rest because of the quality of the bed, love the wonderful breakfast, and are impressed by the hotel's interior. Now, the reality of running a hotel is quite different. It regards technology issues and understanding the distribution jungle, with channels working with and against each other. And at the same time, people are constantly telling you what you are doing wrong. Now, basically, you have 2 options when it comes to optimizing your distribution strategies. Option number 1 is to go for the cheapest option possible. There are several free and cheap booking engines to choose from if you go this way, though cheap usually means that it's not best, especially when it comes to complex technology such as a booking engine. So the consequence of going cheap is that you actually choose to not get that many direct reservations, which means that you will need to get the help from the OTA channels to get the number of reservations you need. And your strategy will therefore be doing the things OTAs like you to do. This means that you need to have good descriptions, load many and high quality pictures, are bookable when you have rooms left to sell, hold rate parity, regularly load campaigns, work actively with the rates, and have a brilliant review score, which means that you will have to do as you already originally planned, dazzle your guests. If you do this right, it does mean that you can expect to receive high commission invoices every month, as OTA fees are directly depending on the fact that you get a lot of reservations that way. If you would like to reduce these, you might be open for the argument to drive direct business, which is a very popular argument within the hotel industry. So you can go for option number 2, which is to invest in technology with the aim to decrease your distribution costs. A system alone is not going to help you achieve your goal. Hotel distribution is a complex specialization, which you will have to understand. My fellow speakers of today will get into more details about the subjects and will certainly be able to help you along the way. Not having the right strategy means that you risk still having the same distribution costs you had before, but with the added cost of the investment you made in technology. So instead of saving costs, you bought yourself a minimized profit. And option number 1 would have been much better option in that case. Some sister providers offer technology which comes together with consultancy to help you understand how to decrease distribution costs. But not all providers do this. So in your choice of system, this is one of the points you might want to look at. How do I get the knowledge I need? Another question you will have to ask yourself, who's actually going to do the job? Somebody with good knowledge must do it, and you must have time for it. So who's going to be your pair of hands? Do you have the resources yourself, or will you hire a consultant to do the job? Consultants are often the cheapest options, but make sure that consultants work very closely with you and are a part of your commercial team. So to summarize it, you have two choices and they come with consequences. The consequence of option number 1 is that you work actively with the OTA channels and can expect to get high commission costs. But then again, these commission fees come from the fact that you get a nice bulk of revenue from these channels. Option number 2 means that you invest in technology, knowledge, and resources. It also means that you will have to spend some time on finding the technology which is best for your property. As I only gave myself 5 minutes to talk, I will not go into detail about that, but I have reserved it for future webinars. A lot of our outsourcing hotels have chosen option number 1, and we always work with the technology given to us and make the most out of that. We do love it when we can work with excellent technology though. We can do fantastic stuff, especially when the technology is fit for the kind of property we work with. Coming to our decision to start a soft brand, the reality post-COVID is that hotels work with a minimum number of resources and the distribution landscape is getting more and more complex. At the same time, revenue is driven by leisure travelers and they are demanding. They want the best possible service for their money, and service means that hotels have to have time for their guests. Our vision is that independent hotels can remain independent, but together with us. They have the right to choose whatever technology they want and be the kind of property they want to be. So in short, we do the things we like and are good at, so hotels can have the time to do the things they like and are good at, dazzling guests and give excellent service. And that was all I had to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed my 5 minutes. And I also really hope that I gave you something to think about. You have 2 options. Option number 1, go for cheap, but you know that you have to drive with the OTAs. Option number 2, invest in technology. I invited a few technology experts, technology experts, and let me see if we can get some insights from them.
Thanks, Annemarie. I'm Maeve Walls from Net Affinity. Net Affinity is an international award-winning technology and design and marketing company. We work exclusively with hotels to drive direct business at a lower cost of acquisition with proven online strategies. So today in my segment, I'm going to focus on the benefits of hotel ads and its role in hotel distribution. So let's get started. Okay, lovely, thanks. As an introduction, I know we're all aware of the power of Google, but just some key stats. Every day, an estimated 5.6 billion Google searches are conducted. Google now controls over more than 90% of the Google search engine market, and Google Hotel Ads is the fastest growing meta search engine. So advertising on hotel ads does give your property great visibility and reach. If you're not already advertising on hotel ads, if you want to get started with it, there are a few things to bear in mind with getting set up. So have a booking engine provider that can connect your booking engine to the hotel ads platform, and ensure your properties, your Google My Business profile is owned and controlled by the property. That's vital because it is your connection between the two. And ensure there's no duplicate listings either. If there are, it is something you need to resolve and it can take time. So to get working on that, and also ensure that your booking engine and website are optimized for mobile, because the activity we see on hotel ads is mobile centric. Within hotel ads, and the core benefit of it is that it boosts your direct bookings, and it supports that activity of driving direct bookings to your website. The acquisition costs are lower than on OTAs, and it reduces your reliance on those OTAs. It drives targeted, interested traffic to your website, and it helps you own that guest so that the guest is more loyal to your hotel, and as to opposed to an OTA or a Genius program. The other big benefit with it is that it reduces the risk of you losing that booking to a competitor. It puts you in space. You're head to head there with the OTAs. You can see it in the screenshot that if you're not advertising there, it's owned by the OTAs. And it's also important to note that not only might you lose it to an OTA, but you could lose that booking to another hotel entirely. If the user goes on and clicks on, for example, booking.com, they'll be shown on the booking.com site other hotels nearby. So the user might then at the last minute pick another hotel entirely, and you've no booking at all. It's important that hotel ads is treated as a revenue channel. It is showcasing your lowest rate that you're selling. So it does make it central to that book direct strategy that's important to all of us. It gives you that, it adds power to that strategy. And it also means from a user's point of view, they don't need to look on separate channels to see their lowest rates. It's within their user experience that they're seeing where the lowest rates are. And I know I keep saying lowest rates, and it's where hopefully you need to have that lowest rate on that platform. It's really what you're being judged on at that stage. And it's also very important that it's part of marketing as well. It is because it's in with hotel ads. It's judged as marketing spend, but it really shouldn't have a fixed budget. There isn't a reserve bid at the moment for hotel ads, which means it's less costly to run. There's less risk involved. So in theory, if you're getting a good CPA on it, if it's lower than what you're costing you through OTAs, then it's definitely advantageous to run. And I suppose then the logic behind that is on the two slides that it's both relevant to marketing and revenue. So it highlights that need for a joint approach, that there's really no place for silos. And I understand it's not new to say silos are restrictive to productivity, but hotel ads clearly needs two departments. So it's a great example of why a joint approach is better. It can't be the sole responsibility of one department. Each department does need to take ownership of their role, and that's what will lead to success. And some key factors in the success then are those rates being competitive. It is disastrous if you have lower rates elsewhere. Consistency is key as well. So keep those ads running at all times. And remember, your ads will only promote available dates, and give your AdWords or give Google Ads freedom on the budget. So focus on that CPA instead of being concentrating on what the spend is. And that kind of approach will definitely see more success with it. From a Net Affinity point of view, we've definitely seen positive results in 2021. So over the past 6 months, we've seen low CPAs coming in between 3.5% and 5%, and clients have seen it as a really good cost-effective channel to use. And even in the latter half of the year, when we saw increased competition come back, when countries started to open up and the OTAs were bidding more heavily, we still saw that CPA low. So it's definitely a good channel to run. And like I said, that risk is low at the moment as well. So we really would encourage it. And just to show some examples of how it will be shown across Google's products. So you will be shown in a variety of places. So on the left, you can see that it'll come in on the knowledge panel. it'll come within the travel. You'll see in the travel results as well. And also the check availability button that you can see there. So a free booking link, and then within the map results as well. So there's a variety of places that your ad is going to appear. So it gives the property great exposure and great opportunity to get the user to go straight to your site. So I think there's no doubt that it's a channel that's growing. There's more potential from it, and at Net Affinity we definitely say it'll grow further in 2022. So in our opinion, it would be a platform that we'd advise all our channels to use. Thank you very much.
Piotr, are you ready for us?
Yes, I think I'm ready. So let's go with that.
Okay.
Okay, hello, I'm Piotr. And at Till Planet, we have more than 12 years of global experience in providing technology solutions for revenue and distribution management. Our main clients are independent hotels and centrally managed hotel chains. And we help them completely automate pricing and distribution in one tool that is precisely set up. Thanks to this, they save time, increase revenue, and they sleep well. And working closely with our clients on the setup and advising them on the strategies, we have learned a lot about the successful strategies across the pricing and distribution. So today, I'd like to share some of the insights with you. As a revenue manager or someone responsible for this area, when you make the pricing decision, you probably do the forecast, analyze different data sources, check against your competitors. Maybe you even have the revenue management system for this. But when the reservation is made, OTA is eating something close to 20% of this optimized rate. We all know the good old definition of revenue management, but the reality is slightly different, is that you only have the rooms that you have, the price you give is cut by the commission or even undercut by the mysterious algorithm. You don't have time to control everything, and guests, they are simply choosing their competitors or using meta searches to trick you to find better rates. So what is the point of playing with dynamic pricing if the rate in parity you end up with is beneficial only for OTAs? The rise of meta searches has made it critical to ensure the right message is delivered and presented on all channels at a time. And of course, delivery in the hotel industry is called distribution. So don't get me wrong, OTAs are sometimes good, but you really need to know when those good times really are. If you use different channels wisely, they can boost your revenue significantly. City hotels can use the following approach. You can close the most commissionable channels when you're running direct campaigns and expect more bookings through your website. You can open OTAs again to invite new guests and even open some promotion rate plans to boost the occupancy last minute. On the day of arrival in the morning, close online channels to save rooms for walk-ins, but in the afternoon, let a busy businesswoman find you on the OTA in the mobile app again. Of course, if you're more of a resort hotel, you might have grown your direct channel significantly over the last year. This is most probably mostly the domestic traffic, if I'm not mistaken. And once the traveling is easier again, those guests will simply go abroad. So you also need to work with OTAs closely anyway. And once you have many channels connected, your strategy should go beyond rates parity and use restrictions and availability. So it is yet another time that I will tell you that you must break the silos between pricing and distribution this time and define complete strategy altogether. Let me give some examples on how to influence revenue even without touching rates. So availability is very often a forgotten thing. If you need to follow the parity, you can still send zero availability to a channel. The other thing is the trend of a growing average length of stay. Less and less often, people are booking single nights and they are looking for longer stays instead. If I'm booking 2-week stay and a selected room is sold out for 1 night out of 14, I will only see, sorry, we're booked. As long as the other rooms are still available, that should never happen. You need to make a smart overbooking by borrowing the availability from the other room type, and a 2-week stay will for sure balance a free upgrade for 1 night. And the other possibility is also to sell the same room in different ways, and it goes beyond changing twin into double. Sometimes your rooms might act a little bit as a chameleon. One day you'll sell it as a premium product, but the other day, to boost your sales, you will sell it as an economy room in the last minute offer. It's just a matter of different pictures, isn't it? And once you start to play with an advanced distribution game, a smart guest will always be ahead of you. They will always spot the slightest in Parity, the lower price at any of the OTAs than you have on your website. And if they really make an effort to call your property, please make sure that everyone knows how to negotiate and share the commission with their guest. So the key takeaways for you will be: use all types of channels to find your own strategy and ensure that direct offers are always the best. Don't be afraid of open and close channels at different times. Play with the availability smart. Try to sell the same products in various ways and plan all of this in one team. And if you like to learn more about the smart distribution tactics and pricing strategies, technical details as well, together with automation possibilities, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or with the email you can see. Thank you for your attention, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you.
It's time now for the next speaker, Michail. May I also remind all the participants, you can have your questions. We received a question from Ellen already. If you have any questions, please do ask us through the Q&A or in the chat function. Michail, I hope you're ready.
Hello, yes, let's go. So very quickly, I wanted to give an introduction to Fornova for those who might not know us. As I said at the beginning, Fornova is a BI solutions provider, and we believe we have the best data in the whole industry when it comes to rates, and that can be hotels or the chains own rates, so that we can monitor rate parity, but also competitive intelligence, so that we can see what the competition is doing with what we think is the best rates operating in the market. So every month we are monitoring 1.25 billion rates from 75 countries. So how do travelers search for hotels? Well, they go on Google, like everybody said. Google is having millions of searches every day, and it's also the only price comparison website to provide free traffic to hotels. No other meta search does this. So how do you capitalize on this? Well, you ensure the information is complete and consistently displayed, because hotels are a location-based business. Consumers would say that if they find the correct information, it's great, but if they find incorrect information, they wouldn't use a local service, a local business. So according to analysis from Mirai, the results are clear. The higher the results in search or in meta search, the more bookings that hotels get. But how do you actually sort out, this information? How do you cross-check, update, consolidate your info across all platforms? It's a manual, tedious, time-consuming, and daunting task. But if you do it, if you improve your name, address, and phone details, for example, and be consistent across all local directories, you can vastly improve your website's SEO and SER performance. So without without content parity, though, what you're going to do is you're going to end up losing direct bookings. You're going to impact the traffic that you get from all the aggregators and the likes of TripAdvisor, Trivago, Kayak, etc., etc. When it comes now to other ways of how do you do this? How can you automate this? Well, there are generic location marketing platforms, but they're not specific to hospitality. So they are actually, you have to pay them, and if you stop paying them, they take away your listings. And then when you have some COVID-related accommodation-specific attributes, for example, this is a list of the ones in Google Hotel Ads, you'll find that unless you have a provider that understands this business, then you're not going to be able to cope with all this data. So we have a value proposition for you. We have come up with a new solution, which is for the hotel listings, and enables hoteliers to automatically update the property's profile attributes on all sites. We're now starting with Google My Business, TripAdvisor, Trivago, and Facebook, all from a single, secure, centralized location. So this is our answer, our smart solution to eliminate hotel content disparity. You are saving the many hours of concentrated effort to fill in all the blanks in, like I said, Google My Business, in the main sites that give you 90% of all traffic to hotels, which is Facebook, TripAdvisor, Trivago, Google, and soon we're adding Kayak. we're going to be adding more sites as we go along, but effectively, hotels know us for safeguarding rate parity, and now Fornova also safeguards and ensures content parity. This is a sample of what the platform looks like. So you go in, you fill in your properties details, and most importantly, as you see on the next slide, you will also fill in the likes of health and safety, attributes, because a hospitality-focused platform will allow you to take full advantage of all these available category-specific profile features to complete your amenities, your activities, and obviously the health and safety measures that you've got for COVID. We have clients who have already started using this. And as a final thing to say, why we're promoting this? Well, it's free. It's free for any hotel to sign up and use the service. And it's free now, and it's going to be free forever. So we're literally not charging anything to anyone. All we're trying to do is we're trying to give access to people to maintain, the best, the most accurate listings across all sorts of platforms. And it's easy to start. Any hotel can register in 3 simple steps. You just add our email address, which is hotel.listings@fornova.net, to your Google My Business account. You do the same to your hotel's Facebook page account, and then you just create your profile on the website, which is hoteldirectorylistings.com, and we'll take it from there. We'll literally update all your hotel attributes and all your profiles for now and forever. And that's all I had to say, I suppose. And of course, happy to get any questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michael. Alex, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Barros. I'm the MD for EasyWay in Europe. And I'm going to talk about how we can make the most of every guest, impacting your total revenue and revenue per available guest using messaging. And that's a bit what I'm going to talk about now. Let's go. So I guess everybody understands that the pie has got a lot smaller in the last few years after COVID started. And if you go to the next slide, Juliana, I can show that basically the leisure spend has lost around 41% from 2019 to 2020. And then basically there's been a little bit of a recovery, and business travel spend has actually decreased around 61%. So that has caused us to realize that now you have less guests or less people willing to travel, and you also have government restrictions that basically hinder you with the capacities of occupancy in your properties, and that gives you the need to try and get the most that you can from each one of the guests. So when you look at the guest journey, it starts there, as you've heard from other experts, on the guest acquisition with the OTAs. And with our product, we start by basically having a conversation with your guest through messaging on the .com. The number of messaging platforms users globally is exploding. There's around 6.5 billion users using messaging. And it's a massive trend. I think you guys have all probably noticed that most of the large tech companies, even like Netflix, are obviously already using WhatsApp as a way to communicate. The reason why messaging is so important is because basically, if you look at emails versus messaging, you have a 98% reach on messaging, with around 90% of people actually opening messages within 3 minutes of receiving them. And when you look at emails, you get a 21%, let's say, opening rate, with approximately an 11% click-through. So there's a very different ability to reach customers via messaging. So I think that the important message for you for this group is that if you're not using messaging, you should really consider it, because it can really transform the way you do your distribution. So during the pandemic, we've seen the willingness of customers to download apps and also to open more emails than they used to. But now, after we've realized that the pandemic is probably not going to be finished anytime soon, things have decreased a little bit better and is going back to the normal. So benefits of implementing technology, as all of the other panelists have basically mentioned, a PricewaterhouseCoopers study has shown that you have a 135% increase online revenue, a 71% reduction on guest complaints, and a 19% in increase in customer ratings. We at EasyWay, we scale and we draft guest experiences using messaging, and we use that via WhatsApp, for example, or WeChat, or other channels that basically are relevant in each of the markets. Now, if you use messaging, which is an instant channel with your guest, you may have a start with an ADR of 100 euros, for example, and the way to make the most of each guest, if you look at all the different things a guest will do throughout a stay, so you have the upgrades, the in-room revenue, experiences, dining, COVID tests, transfers, all of that revenue can be captured if you are able to actually build a guest portal that could offer to your customers the things that they actually care about and the experience that they're looking for at your destination. So the ability to do that through messaging really gives you, let's say, a big boost in the revenue that you have, total revenue, and also the revenue per billable guest. So when you draft this customer journey, you have different touch points that you might have with the guest, depending on how long they're staying and what the booking window is. And in each one of the messages that you send, you could potentially have, let's say, upselling offers and upgrades or experiences. As you can see here on the slide, you can see an example of a guest portal for a property where you can see that the hotel is actually giving a link to experiences, hotel transfers, room service, dining, also like room decoration or even a little shop. So that can be used by any hotels, doesn't matter if you're a budget or a luxury property. You can definitely use that as a way to increase and enrich the guest journey, but also to drive and deliver revenue to your hotel chain. So I think my main message here is technology now is available for you to contact every single one of your guests in a, let's say, automatic way and with automation, without literally having to have all the manual work. So if you guys want to find out how to build your own ultimate guest journey, you can find me, contact me through here or via LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Alex. I might have a question for you on the discussion panel when it comes to email versus mobile. And I think also that question came in through the question and answers. Okay, Martin Duchateau, made in Louuise, very welcome to this webinar. I'm so happy you were able to join us. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about yourself? Martin, are you there?
Sorry, it's better with unmute. Is it okay now? Yeah.
The most common thing to say in a webinar these days, right? You need to unmute, Martin. Yes, it is better.
Okay. So no, thanks for the presentation. It was very interesting to listen to all of you. Very interesting insights. So just a bit about myself. So I've worked 20 years in the hotel industry, 10 years for hotel chains, mainly in Asia and the US. And I came back to Brussels about 10 years ago. And I'm currently managing the boutique hotel called Louuise, 50 rooms, and I'm opening a second one at the end of the year. And I am as well a hotel consultant, so I've got a few missions, mainly into the management for the hotels.
Thank you, thank you. Actually, what I wanted to ask you, I mean, we've been talking about like a change in distribution landscape, and you see that the OTAs, they're ever changing their strategies and continuously introducing new features, functionalities. Now, from a hotelier's point of view, did you notice any recent updates that you would like to highlight?
I mean, yeah, there is a few I would like to highlight, but first of all, I just want to say that even though listening to those presentations, we have seen that the distribution, it's very complex. and it evolves super quickly. So I'll give you a few now, but that, to be honest, it's going to be different in 1 year. So it's very interesting and very difficult actually to keep track in all the changes and the impact it has on the hotelier itself. So one I've seen recently is the online wallet, which actually is very interesting. I'm talking about booking.com for that case, but other OTAs have it as well. So it's interesting because actually I've seen that is one of the most powerful tools to retain your customer is actually cashback or those online wallets. So actually the best thing to do to retain is to give money back to your customer. It seems very powerful. And looking at what's happening, it seems that rate parity, we've seen the presentation, is something that hoteliers it's starting to control and to manage. So OTAs are trying to find some other stuff actually to retain their customer. And cashback, for me, talking to my customers, it seems to be quite a powerful tool. Even though you have the same rate, it's very easy to book on booking.com. Plus, this online wallet seems to be quite powerful. Then, of course, I've seen as well that there's a lot about amenities. OTAs are trying to have free upgrades, free drinks, free breakfast, a lot of stuff actually from the hotelier, so they don't touch to the rate. That's something as well I've seen a lot. And we're seeing slowly, it's TripAdvisor who launched that in the US, but it's the TripAdvisor Plus. It's a subscription model where actually you pay $99 per month and you per year, and you have added value. It means that you have more availability, you have discounted rate, you have online wallet. So it seems that there's still a lot to do in terms of retention, and OTAs are there. So very important for the hotelier to really keep track on your market mix, on your net RevPAR. You really have to follow up what's happening and make sure that you don't lose market share to booking.com for any specific reasons.
I think you're quite right. Thank you very much for that. Actually, didn't really know the cashback function yet. We talked about it when we had the pre-meeting. Looked it up. It's interesting stuff, actually. Now, something else also, OTAs are now looking very much about the business model that Google does. Google introduces different kinds of things. They're going to change their model. It will be interesting to see what they're going to do now. But did you notice any change here? Did you notice also how the OTAs are looking at Google, for instance?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, as I said, OTAs are always looking to increase their revenue stream. It's something that they have the resources, they have the financial resources, and they have to find ways to retain their customer, because hoteliers and apps or softwares like we've just seen are there to actually to gain market, to gain direct market shares. So there's things moving, but just one more precision before talking about those CPC models. It's interesting to see how quick and easy it's actually to load a promotion on the OTAs. And that's the thing that it's the biggest advantage. You know, we're currently in the panic management. Offers are, I mean, the demand is low, and what we do, we just panic and we say, okay, we're just going to go 10% to the UK customers. I'm going to take 20% to early birds. I'm going to give 10% to Booking Genius, 15% to Booking Genius plus free drinks. And most of the hoteliers have no idea where they currently are, and they give just promotion all around, and you don't even know what is you currently set up. So just make sure that you don't give too much and that you really track whatever you do. But just going back to your question, so yeah, we have seen that actually on TripAdvisor, you can already bid. They have this preferred placement functionality where you actually bid to have a preferred placement. So it works quite well. But for booking, so they're currently launching a CPC model, so a pay-per-click model. And what's interesting is that they're saying, okay, for the commission, it's more a distribution cost. But let's really go into the marketing budget of the hotels. If you pay your Google ads, it's more a marketing cost. It's not really a distribution cost. So they say, let's go and tackle, you know, your Facebook ads, all your social media ads, all your Google ads and everything, and let's take a part of this money who's going on other websites. Now, the challenging thing about that, it's about cannibalization. So it means that you will have all your online promotions, your existing promotion on all the OTAs, plus you will have your ads. You're going to pay for pay-per-click ads. I mean, you really have to make sure that it's truly incremental. That's very important, because it might only dilute your business. You have to make sure that it's incremental business regarding what you have that you currently have.
Thank you. Yeah, I think most hoteliers that listen, they can recognize this thing with, okay, you have a promotion, another promotion, another promotion, and before you know it, there's just nothing left. Strange that it might seem, but it's a very common problem that you touched. Thank you for that. Actually, did you see any more new changes coming up distribution wise?
I mean, I mean, we could do a webinar on that, but I'm just going to highlight 4 points, and then we can discuss it on the panel. But first of all, yeah, it's actually new revenue streams. So OTA need to find new ways to retain the customers and actually to grow the customer audience as well. So new revenue stream, as we said. Two types: subscription models like TripAdvisor doing, or pay-per-click model as Google is currently doing. So that's really things that I think they're going to focus on. Second, I think they're going to be more involved into your guest customer journey. Alex talked about customer journey, and I think that OTAs will start to try to see if there's a space for them there in the online check-in, selling incremental stuff to the guests, upgrades, upsells, all those types of ways they could actually do some money. I think there's still some space for OTAs there. The third point I want to highlight, it's there's a big buzz for the moment around selling by attributes. So there's a few companies, actually startups, working on that, saying, okay, should we go into a model where we sell a space and then we add a value for the view, we add a value because it has a fridge in the room, then we had 10 euros because we want 10 square meter more. So there's a big changes to be done here, and that's something that will actually come and encounter OTA strategy where they're selling by room type. So perhaps hotelier selling by attributes might have an added value there on the on the average room rate, and OTAs will not be able to compare rates anymore. So that's something that we really have to see how it goes in the next year. And the fourth point I wanted to highlight, it's those talking about the subscription models. I think we will have more and more, like Inspirato is doing in the US, where of course you pay, I think, $2,000 a month or something, but you have access and to all their properties for free. So you can use for free all their properties, all their hotels and everything. So it's something as well with those monthly, those recurrent revenue stream. I think it's something that will slowly come into the hotel industry. Currently, we're very used to pay monthly fee to Spotify and O2 Tools application, but I think this is as well a way to use those business models into the hospitality industry. Okay, that's it for the moment.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting. You actually invited the guest, the expert panels to help you find the answer to these 4 points that you highlighted. And let's maybe see if we can have a discussion panel. And let me invite all the other speakers to help us with this. We got a few questions actually from the audience. Thank you so much for that. So let's start with a question from Ellen to Maeve. Can you give real example of making our website stands out over the OTAs as we avoid for the discrepancy of rates, right?
Yeah, sure. I saw that from Ellen. Thanks. So I know what you mean. You already have a lower rate. So what do you do next? And I think it ties in what Peter was saying with availability, that like you want to ensure that you have that consistent availability on your own hotel website, and you want to look as well at room types that, you know, you're prioritizing maybe, you know, key room types for your site, to have that point of difference, and that there is something extra that you're getting when you're going through the hotel website, value adds as well, that, you know, there just needs to be a point of difference. There needs to be something that makes you stand out as that reason why you go direct. And we had seen over the last year more guests going direct because they want that reassurance that they're going to the hotel website to get that COVID information. So, you know, you have a better opportunity because their guests are going to that hotel website. So it's to give them that compelling reason then when they are on the website.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Hope you're happy with the
Hope that
answer.
helps.
We also got a question from friend of the revenue forums, Robert Daremi from Gothenburg. Anybody heard anything about Hyperguest and their new approach to distribution? Supposed to be a marketplace connecting hotels with travel providers, avoiding any higher standard commission by skipping the middleman. Sounds both interesting and too good to be true. What are your thoughts? Anyone that has a thought on Hyperguest and knows what they're doing right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I might have some as well.
Okay. Both of you, please. Alex,
You go first. You go first, Peter.
Okay.
Okay, if you want me to. It is quite an interesting model. Definitely worth trying. I don't know all the details, although we have a bunch of clients actually using that as a kind of channel. You can think of this as a technically as a different channel. Their model is slightly different. Definitely worth taking a look into. I'd be more than glad to go into more details with anyone interested in this. Showing how it works also from the technical side. One maybe a larger comment is that there are actually a bunch of different similar innovative channels popping up. Also, you maybe heard of Impala, if I'm not mistaken. So these are, I'd say, in general, these are channels as any others. They might have different business models, but definitely worth trying, definitely worth spotting an opportunity for you as a hotelier.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Alex, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, my understanding of it is basically is almost as a revenue management platform for distribution channels that theoretically you have to do negotiation one by one. So I personally, that have been in distribution for a while, was when I wrote SiteMinder interested in Europe. I think I've been waiting for something like that for many years. And I think that that's a brilliant solution that really will help hotels to have a bit more control and analyze the costs that they have in each channel to get more of it. But anyway, it's basically more to answer the question, nothing to do with my current life.
Okay, thank you. They're apparently quite active with webinars, so maybe let's see if we can invite them on one of the future webinars. Laurent has a question, or maybe also a remark, I think, and that goes to Michael's point. Parity is key, but also consistency, rates, content availability is in a successful distribution strategy. I think that Michael actually replied to that. Is there anything that you would like to add to this, Michael?
Not really anything specific. I think the key is for everyone to understand that you need to have visibility and you need to have ranking in order for people to be able to find you when they're searching for you, either in a search engine or a meta search, engine, whatever. And in order to do that, you need to be shown that you are a reliable source of information. So the content, if you like, disparity, which is the cases whereby inaccurate or incomplete or inconsistent information is available in different directories online, that is actually preventing your hotel from showing up at the top of the searches of the search results, and it's damaging your credibility, right? So immediately, even for the basic things such as in your NAP, which is the name, address, and phone number, if you get that consistently across all local directories, you will see immediately an improvement on your website for SEO and for search engine results performance. So it happens immediately. So, and Google has stated it clearly. So what to consider is that I suggested a solution, obviously the one that we put together, but if you find another one that works for you, that's absolutely fine. But you need to make sure that you are keeping on top of every update you might have. Let's say you have an innovation to part of the hotel, you change the brand that you're affiliated with, you change the phone number, something, whatever happens, make sure that you don't get to the point whereby, and I think we've all seen it, there is, you find a listing for a business on a directory and it's got the old phone number, or they've actually got 3 different listings if you find them in 3 different directories with 3 different phone numbers, because, make sure that once you make a change, the change happens across everywhere where you're listed. Yes, the most traffic comes from Google, Bing, and then the TripAdvisor, Trivago, and Kayak, which is the big meta search engines, but also you've got Yelp and Yellow Pages and Yahoo and all that kind of stuff. And obviously the operating systems, the likes of Apple, and you've got the maps, so TomTom and all the maps that are available on, in the car, the automotive manufacturers building in the car. So all those things need eventually to be updated. And then once you have everything in place, then you will be at the top of the search results, and then you have a massive, probably double the percentage of bookings coming from, let's say, Google Hotel Ads that you would have otherwise.
Yeah, thank you. You got another question, actually. How do you work with
Can I just shortly maybe disagree with that? Just wanted to maybe put a bit of a stick into the into this, because I would dare to a little bit disagree about this consistency. Like as long and like parity, of course, like as Michail said, I think that should be all in sync. But in terms of availability and rates, if this inconsistency comes up from the fact that you have no control over that, yes, it should be fixed. But if you know very well all your channels, sometimes it really makes sense to make it inconsistent. For example, just to put something only on a channel where you know that this is the right time to, for example, boost your sales by inviting guests that via the channel that is reaching the country that has just recently opened the travel restrictions, for example. So this kind of inconsistency, I think it really makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Nice ad. Let me go over to Maeve, actually, because you're talking about actually having the lowest rates open, and well, that's of course, I mean, I can understand that, because the meta searches are just like increasing in their impact on hotels. But how much of an impact does not having the lowest rates have on a hotel, you find, and doesn't it impact rate parity and therewith also your possibility to get anything from the OTAs?
Yeah, like I think within the hotel ads context, yeah, if you don't have the lowest rate, so if you're finding a lower rate on an OTA or a wholesale reseller, then that's a huge issue. It's kind of counter to the whole point of being on hotel ads, because at that point all you're doing is you're paying money to highlight you do not have the best rate and pick one of the other channels and book. So within the hotel ads context, yeah, you do need to make sure that your rate is the lowest or at least equal to another channel that you can't. I know it sounds blunt, but there's no point being on hotel ads and having lower rates on other channels, because it just doesn't go together. So yeah, it's very important that you're mindful of those rates and to look at it from a front end. I think we all work in hotels and we'll constantly update things via channel managers and systems, but go on to the front end, do searches on your for your property on hotel ads, and just look at it and see what the customer is seeing. It's your quickest way to see if you do have an issue with wholesale rates.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. Actually, I think, well, during pandemic, we saw actually a decrease in this issue. I don't know if you see that there actually it's coming back. I mean, one of our fears is also that during pandemic, actually what customers are looking for, or guests are looking for, is security. So that might be the return of the wholesalers, and therewith maybe also again then the rate parity issues increasing. Do you see that?
Yeah, like definitely. What we did see, I suppose, was an uplift last year in those direct bookings for that reason, to do with the security. People wanted to go to the hotel website to see what's, safety measures were there. They wanted to kind of get that reassurance that what was the hotel product itself doing, to ensure they had a safe and still enjoyable stay. So there was definitely a nice uplift from that, because you were seeing more and more people willing to take that extra step, go to the hotel website, and then, you said at that point, then you're trying to capture them when they're on the hotel website. You said the other side of that is, will people use wholesalers more to do with travel insurance? Will they feel a little bit more secure when they're traveling abroad? So I suppose there's a lot to see in 2022, because people's behavior has changed over the course of the last 18 months. Have we learned from that, or do we return to old habits? I suppose it's hard to predict what way.
Can I say one
next year.
thing here?
Yeah.
Please. We are finding that when we start first to work with a hotel or a chain, that the executives there are usually surprised with the issues that we detect and the problems that actually happen. So I just want to say one thing. When there is an issue with how the rates are found, across the different channels that the hotel or a chain is advertising, or distributing. A lot of the time, for example, it's not what you think. It's not a wholesaler that, let's say, might be, dumping inventory and undercutting you with a non-contracted OTA. Regularly, actually, there is no room availability, for example, on brand.com, and there is availability on OTA or meta search. And of course, that means that the hotel will miss out on the direct booking that they could have had. But actually, 23% of direct bookings are lost due to errors on brand.com and meta search channels, due to some connectivity issue, for example. It's a very common thing that you have an error in connectivity and you're not displaying the room as available on your own brand.com. So this, I suppose, shows how it is important to be working together, marketing, distribution, revenue, in a hotel, and solve those issues. Otherwise, you'll be losing bookings that you could have had. Now, when it comes to rate parity, I get the point that it could be that it's important for a certain market or a certain channel to give let's say a lower rate, and some people did it actually with TripAdvisor, with this plus subscription, if you like, package that they did. Although they kind of seem to be reversing and backtracking on that. I think it's now changing from having a different, cheaper rate to actually getting a rebate later on or something. And I think possibly the CMO and CEO of TripAdvisor paid with their jobs, because I think a lot of hotel chains complained. And it seems that they've reversed course now as of the new year. But regardless of that, I think that OTAs will sometimes use country rate campaigns. They will actually undercut you themselves. They will, maybe, sacrifice their own margin to be cheaper, to be able to get that booking in control. Who owns the data, who owns the customer, the guest. But actually, I'm not convinced that the price that you're gonna pay for that, which is effectively the giants of Bing, of Microsoft, and especially Google, will not punish you, but effectively your rating, your ranking, your visibility will suffer in the long term. I'm not convinced that it is worth playing it the same way as the OTAs. I think the best way to actually do this is to tackle any rate integrity issues. And to try to find if there is, with, for example, test reservations is a service that we offer. Yeah. If you find that people are advertising a rate that is not what it should be, identify who it is. If, for example, it's a wholesaler, go and, enforce your deal that you have with them that, they shouldn't be doing, retail prices or whatever, retail sales or whatever it might be. If it's a non-contracted OTA, if it's a contracted OTA, enforce the agreement you have, because actually, if you're marked down and people cannot find you, it doesn't matter if you're even, have the best rate and cheaper rate anywhere else, because people won't find you. Will be, the best place to bury a body probably is, page 2 or 3 of Google and of the OTAs.
Yeah, I think you touched on two very important things, and I think that is about also marking the end of the webinar. One of them is the connectivity issues, and I think a lot of the hoteliers really do recognize it, because I mean it is a very technical jungle, and usually what we find is when we come into hotels and help them, the first thing we need to do is map all the rates again, because there are a lot of connectivity issues, and it's a lot of technical mapping that you have to do. But also when it comes to rate parity, we find that it's not always the OTAs that do it. Actually, sometimes you have Booking or Expedia complaining about not having parity on a channel, and then hey, it's their own channel. And yes, they can do. I know that in Fornova you can see that also, but you can have like disparity through different countries. Like in Sweden, you can have parity, but then all of a sudden, if you would look at the same hotel from Germany, it would have disparity, and that's also just like something that happens. I think we can talk about rate parity for quite some time, and hey, I have a webinar planned for that in the future. But for now, I think it's the end of the webinar. If you have a very short thing you want to say, Michael?
Very, very short thing. Be careful as a hotelier. If you have a rate shopper, make sure your rate shopper actually does what you just said. It monitors the rates from various different points of sale, different countries. You know, make sure that your rate shopper, for example, if your source markets, your feeder markets are different countries, that your rate shopper is showing you the rates that the competitors are advertising in each of those countries.
Thank you for that. And thank you also for your time. Hope you enjoyed this webinar. Our next one is in 6 weeks. It's on the 24th of February, and then we're going to talk about more a revenue related subject, winning strategies, revenue managers advice. And you can book your seat on the free seat on our website, revenueforum.net. We have invited speakers from Taktikon, Atomai, Senden, SHR, Libra, and our special guest comes from La Banda Hostel. I will send you the recording of this webinar as soon as possible, and really hope that we are going to be able to see you next time. And talk about that, maybe just like some final words from our speakers. Maeve, do you have like a final remark?
Yeah, I suppose just on hotel ads, I suppose to take the time and go back, review how you're using hotel ads and make sure it's marketing and revenue together as a team on it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Piotr, do you have anything to add?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that, but yeah, just out of what we talked about, really, like I would maybe add one thing that the imparity doesn't have to be on the rates, so you can keep the rate parity, but you can, for example, give a close and open channels. That is still in line with the parity rules, and so the rates are all the same if they are there, and you can always tell that this is just another product. So we can play with these things really if you have a decent technology to control that, because it's conceptually it's easy, but that's really to execute that every single time that it is really required to open close certain room types rate plans, that might be challenging.
Thank you for that. We spent ages balancing our room types actually, and that usually has a better impact than changing rates. Michael, do you have anything to say?
Not really, just to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully this is the year that finally the global pandemic will be left behind. All the best to everyone. Remember, embrace technology. The industry, travel, hospitality is undergoing digital transformation. The sooner you embrace technology, the better you are going to be off having success in the future. All the best to everyone.
Thank you very much. Alex?
Yes, so I think touching back on what Martin mentioned about the OTAs trying to build this direct relationship with the guests, I mean, I think they already started. And I think right now there's a unique opportunity for each hotel to actually start doing messaging with the guests, because today OTAs don't give you the emails of the guests, but they give you the numbers. So that's, let's say it's a gap that there is an opportunity for you to build that instant channel and to really talk to your guests. So I think that doesn't matter where you go. I think if you use messaging, this is the year where you can try and make the most of each guest you get through your doors. And I think you give a better guest experience. You help with the lack of operations because you automate a lot of the repetitive tasks from the team, and you obviously drive incremental revenue. So I think that's my little takeaway from this.
Thank you very much for your final takeaways. Martin, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a delight to interview you. Do you have any things that you want to add?
Yeah, two things. I've listened to all of you. So first of all, I would say Happy New Year and keep faith into the hospitality industry. We will bounce back. And second, don't forget to discuss and to talk to your customers. I think it's a great intel to understand market shifts or channel shifts. Usually by talking to them, you really understand why he books on Booking and then the next day he books on Expedia. It's quite interesting to see, and most of the hoteliers, they have no idea of why their customer actually shifting from an OTA to direct or vice versa.
Yeah, you're quite right. Thank you very much for that. I have nothing much more to add other than I feel very positive about the future. We've had 2 years with pandemic. And I really hope that this new variant, which is like much less damaging, will make sure that we can start traveling and start our normal life again. Thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you in 6 weeks. And well, have a nice evening. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Annemarie.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.